The big spaceship landed on Harmonious Station with a soft sound. Inside, 8-year-old Teo looked out the window with wide eyes. He had never seen anything like this place before. Tall metal buildings touched the sky, and lights of many colors moved everywhere. People walked in the halls. Different kinds of people. Not human people like him. Tay-all felt excited and a little scared. His mother held his hand as they walked down the long hallway. She was worried, but she did not show it. Teo was chosen for the Galaxy Education Program. Only one human child from Earth was picked this year. The Veiled Collective, the group that ran the program, said Teo was special. He was calm and kind. He could get along with different types of beings. "You will be fine, my son," his mother said. She spoke in Korean, their home language. "Be kind to everyone. Listen well. Learn as much as you can." Teo nodded. He wanted to make his mother proud. The classroom was very big and very strange. The walls were made of clear glass, and outside, Teo could see space and stars. The floor was warm under his feet. There were small chairs made for small bodies. Some chairs had water inside them. Some chairs were made of hard metal. One chair was filled with dirt. The other students were already there. A girl with skin that looked like crystal sat in the front row. Her name was Velkar, and she was from a planet called Shiramoth. She had sharp points on her body that caught the light when she moved. Next to her was a boy named Tarn who came from under the water. His body was blue and soft. He had to sit in a special tank of water to breathe. Near the back sat Nira, a young girl with no eyes but many small lights on her head instead. She was from the Vran people who could read minds. She looked at Teo and gave a small smile. There were 12 students in the class. Each one came from a different star system. Each one was small and young, like Teo. None of them looked like each other, but they were all chosen because they were not dangerous. The Veiled Collective believed that if young children learned together, they would never fight when they grew up. The teacher came in. Her name was Minhei. She was from the Veiled Collective, a tall woman with smooth skin and calm eyes. She wore clothes that seemed to change color as she moved. "Welcome," Minhei said with a warm voice. "Today is the first day of our school. You are the best and brightest children from your worlds. We brought you here to learn together, to share ideas, and to build peace for the future." The children listened quietly. They did not know each other yet. "We will study science, art, history, and kindness," Minhei continued. "But first, we need to follow one rule. In this classroom, everyone is safe. No one here is dangerous. No one is scary." Teo felt better when she said this. He was worried that he might be too different, too weak compared to the other children. Then the door at the back of the classroom opened. Everyone went quiet. A tall shape filled the doorway. It was so big that the top of its head touched the doorway frame. The creature had hard, dark skin that looked like armor. It had 4 arms, not 2. Each hand had 5 long claws that caught the light. Its eyes were large and black, like looking into nothing. Its mouth had too many teeth. Teo's heart beat very fast. The creature walked into the room. Every step made a small sound. Click, click. The floor under its feet seemed to hold, strong because it was very heavy. The creature was almost as tall as Minhei was, but much wider and much stronger. "This is Dae-young," Minhei said. Her voice was calm, but Teo could hear something else in it too. Something like worry. "She comes from Carthan 7. Dae-young, this is our classroom." Dae-young looked around the room. Her black eyes moved from one child to the next. When her eyes came to Teo, the boy felt like she was looking right through him, like she could see all his thoughts. Velkar moved back in her chair. The water boy made a small sound of fear. Nira's lights dimmed. Only Tayo did not move. Dae-young sat down in a big chair that Min-hye showed her. The chair was made of very strong metal. It was the only seat that could hold her weight. She was so big that her claws touched the ground on both sides of the chair. Dae-young is here to learn just like you, Min-hye said. She will follow all the rules of the classroom. You will treat her with respect. Is that clear? The children nodded, but they did not look at Dae-young. They looked down at their desks. Min-hye started the lesson about the planet system. She showed pictures on the big screen. She talked about how planets move around stars. But no one was thinking about planets. They were all thinking about Dae-young sitting in the back of the room. Dae-young did not move. She did not make sounds. She did not look at anyone. She just sat and listened. When the lesson ended, all the children moved away from Dae-young. They went to the other side of the classroom. Tayo stood up slowly. He looked at Dae-young. She was looking out the window at the stars. Why does she have to be here? Velkar asked Min. She's not safe. She is from a Deathworld. Everyone knows that Deathworlds make killers. Min-hye said we have to be kind, Nira said quietly with her lights blinking soft. But her lights were worried lights. Tae-oh did not say anything. He was thinking about what his mother told him. Be kind to everyone. Listen well. He walked slowly toward Dae-young. All the other children went quiet again. They watched to see what would happen. Dae-young turned her big head to look at the small human boy walking toward her. In her large black eyes, there was something that looked like sadness. Tae-oh stopped a little way from her chair. He was not tall enough to look her in the eyes. He had to look up. Way up. What is your name? He asked. His voice was small and brave at the same time. Dae-young did not answer for a long time. It seemed like she was thinking very hard about what to do. Then she said, My name is Dae-young. Her voice was deep like thunder, but it was not mean. It was just deep. I am Tayo, the boy said. I come from Earth. Do you want to be friends? In the back of the classroom, Nira's lights got brighter with surprise. Dae-young looked at the small human boy for a very long time. Then, very slowly, one of her claws moved toward him. Tayo did not move away. He did not run. The claw stopped very close to him. It was as long as his arm and sharp as anything he had ever seen. But Dae-young did not use it to hurt. She moved it gently and touched the top of Tayo's head with the flat part of her claw. Just a soft touch. Yes, Dae-young said. I want to be friends with you, Tayo from Earth. It was the start of something that would change everything. The next morning, Tayo woke up early in his small room on the station. He felt excited. Today he would see Dae-young again. The other students had stayed away from the big creature, but Tayo did not feel afraid anymore. He felt curious. When he got to the classroom, Dae-young was already there. She sat in her big metal chair and looked out at the stars. She did not move when Tayo came in. She just kept looking at the sky. Tayo walked over to her chair and looked up at her face. Hi, Dae-young, he said. Did you sleep okay? Dae-young turned her head down to look at him. I do not need much sleep, she said. On my world, we rest in a different way. But I thank you for asking. What is your world like? Tayo asked. He sat down on the ground next to her chair. He did not think about danger. He just wanted to know more about her. For the first time, Dae-young made a sound that might have been a laugh. It was a deep rumbling sound from her chest. My world is very different from yours, she said. Carthan 7 is hot and dry. The ground is hard like stone. The rain comes hard and fast like weapons. There are many things that hunt, many things that kill. Everything there fights to live. There is no room for weakness. That sounds scary, Tayo said. It is the only world I know, Dae-young said. To me, it is not scary. It is home. But to others, to soft worlds, yes, it is very scary. Other students started to come into the classroom. They saw Teo sitting next to Dae-young, and they stopped. Velkar made a face like she tasted something bad. "Come sit with us, Teo," Velkar said mean. "Why do you want to sit with that?" Teo did not move. "Because Dae-young is my friend," he said. He said it simple and clear. Min-hye came into the room then. She stopped when she saw Teo next to Dae-young. Teo could see something in her face. Was it worry? Was it fear? But her voice stayed calm. "Good morning, class," she said. "Today we will do partner work. I have made the partners." She looked at a paper in her hand. Teo and Dae-young will work together on the history project. The classroom went quiet. Velkar made a small, angry sound. "Min-hye, is that safe?" Velkar asked loud. "What if Dae-young hurts him?" Min-hye's eyes became hard. "Dae-young is a student like all of you. She follows the rules of this classroom. And Teo has chosen to be kind. That is the most important thing here." But Teo could see that Min-hye was not completely sure. Her hands held the paper tight, and her jaw was tight too. Dae-young did not say anything. She did not move. But Teo felt her looking at him. He looked up at her and smiled. "What should we study?" he asked. The project was about ancient Earth and how humans lived a long time ago. Teo told Dae-young about how his people hunted animals for food. He told her about how they fought each other for land and water. He told her about how they learned to grow food instead of hunt. Dae-young listened. She asked questions. "Why did your people give up hunting?" "Hunting is a skill. It is important. Because when we grew food, we had more time for other things," Teo said. "We could make art. We could tell stories. We could learn. On Carthan 7, we hunt because we must," Dae-young said. "But I see what you mean. When survival is not so hard, there is time for other things. What do you like to do?" Teo asked. "When you are not hunting or fighting?" Dae-young did not answer right away. For a long time, she was quiet. "No one has ever asked me that," she finally said. "I do not know the answer." "Then let's find out together," Teo said. Over the next weeks, something strange happened. Other students started to watch Teo and Dae-young. They saw that the human boy was safe. They saw that Dae-young was kind to him, even though she was very big and very strong. Slowly, other children started to sit closer. Not with her, but closer than before. Nira started to ask Dae-young questions about her world. Tarn the water boy asked about the weather on Carthan 7. Even Velkar watched, though she still looked angry about it. One day, there was a big problem. Teo and Nira were doing schoolwork together in the quiet study room. They were reading about different star systems. The room was small and had no other people in it. Khir came in. At first, she just stood by the door and looked mean. Then she started to say bad things. She said that Teo was stupid for liking Dae-young. She said that humans were weak. She said that Nira was a fool for letting a human be her friend. "You are both weak and soft," Velkar said. "You do not belong here with real beings." Nira's lights got dim. She was afraid. Velkar moved fast. Her sharp points came toward Nira. She wanted to hurt her, but Nira screamed. That scream moved through the whole station. It moved to the classroom where Dae-young was waiting for Teo to come back. In that moment, something inside Dae-young woke up. Something old and very strong. She was running. She was fast. So fast that the other children did not even see her move. One moment she was in the classroom. The next moment she was in the study room, moving like wind, like a storm. Velkar did not have time to think. The Dae-young was there, and her claws came between Velkar and Nira. The sharp crystal spikes that Velkar shot came at Dae-young instead of Nira. The spikes cut into Dae-young's skin. Pain came. Bad pain. Her body shook. Then nothing. Her body stopped. Locked. She could not move. The neural inhibitors. The thing they put in her brain to stop her from being dangerous. They locked her down when she fought. She fell to the ground. She could see Teo's face above her. He was crying. She could see Nero was safe. That was good. That was the only good thing. Dae-young. Tae-oh cried out. Dae-young, wake up. Please wake up. But she could not move. Could not speak. She was trapped in her own body. The doctors came. Min-hye came. Guards came. They took Velkar away. They looked at Dae-young's wounds. The spikes had cut deep. She had protected a small grandchild with her own body, but everyone was looking at her like she was dangerous now. Like her true nature was a monster. Teo held her claw as the doctors worked. You saved Nira, he whispered. You are a hero. Everyone will know that. Dae-young could not answer, but she heard every word. And in the space station far away, in the halls where humans did not belong and monsters had to be kept safe, one small boy sat next to one big creature and would not let go. The medical room was cold and white. Dae-young lay on a table too small for her body. Her arms and legs hung off the sides. The doctors worked on her cuts, but she could not feel them. The inhibitors kept everything locked. She was awake. She could think. She could see. But she was a prisoner in her own body. Tae-oh sat in a chair next to the table. He had not left. The doctors told him to go to his room. Min-hye told him to leave. But he would not. He held Dae-young's clawed hand. You did the right thing, Teo said over and over. You saved Nira. Everyone knows that. Everyone will understand. But Teo was young. He did not know that not everyone would understand. The next day, messages came from the parents of the other students. They were very angry. They said that Dae-young was too dangerous. They said that the school should send her away. They said that no predator should be allowed with their children, no matter what she did. One message said, the creature will always be a killer. Instinct is stronger than choice. She attacked without thinking. We demand she be removed. Another message said, human boy was lucky. Next time, she might kill him. Is the school trying to kill our children? Min-hye read these messages in her office. She put her face in her hands. She had wanted to believe that Dae-young could be part of the school. She had wanted to believe that bringing the predator to learn with peaceful children would show that all beings could be civilized. But now everyone was afraid. Now everyone said she was wrong. The Veil Collective made a decision. They would send Dae-young back to Carthan 7. She was a danger. She could not stay. When they told Dae-young this, she was still locked in the medical room. The doctors released the inhibitors enough so she could talk. You will be on a ship home in 3 days, they said. They did not look at her eyes when they said it. Dae-young said nothing. She knew this would happen. Deep inside, she had always known. She had come to Harmonious Station to help her whole world. If her world could show that they were not killers, maybe the Veiled Collective would help them. Maybe they would give them medicine and technology. Maybe they would not keep them trapped and cut off. But she had failed. Teo heard the news before Dae-young. A teacher told him that Dae-young would go home. He ran to the medical room. Dae-young was sitting up now. The wounds were closed with clean white bandages. She looked at Teo, and he saw something in her eyes that made his heart break. Sadness. Deep sadness. I am sorry, Dae-young said. I could not control my nature. I could not stay safe. You protected Nira, Teo said loud. His voice was very strong, even though he was only 8. You chose to help her, not hurt her. That is not being dangerous. That is being brave. I attacked, Dae-young said. The inhibitors locked me because I fought. The galaxy is right. I am a killer. It is what I am made to be. No, Teo said. His eyes got wet with tears. You are made to survive. You are made to hunt. But you chose something else. You chose protection. He climbed onto the medical table and sat next to her big body. He was so small next to her, like a baby next to a mountain. I will not let them send you away, Teo said. I will tell them. Everyone will listen to me. That night, Teo did something that surprised everyone. He called for a meeting. The Veil Collective did not usually listen to a small child, but Teo was a student from Earth, and Earth was new to the galaxy. They were curious. They agreed to hear what he had to say. The big council room filled with people from many worlds. There were beings made of crystal and beings made of light. There were beings with one eye and beings with no eyes. There were beings tall and beings small. They all looked at the tiny human boy who stood in the middle of the big room. Teo felt very small. But he thought of Dae-young locked in the medical room, and he found his courage. Dae-young is not a killer, he said. His voice was not very loud, but it was clear and strong. She is a protector. On my world, we have a word. Sankuk. It means to give your life to save others. That is what Dae-young did. He told them what happened. How Velkar attacked Nira. How Dae-young heard the scream and ran to help. How she blocked the spikes with her own body. You say she is dangerous because she comes from a Deathworld, Teo said. But that is not right. Every being is made by their world. I am kind because Earth is safe. Dae-young is strong because Carton 7 is hard. But we are not our world. We are what we choose to be. He looked around the room. You are all afraid of her. I know. I was afraid too, at first. But then I asked her a question, and she answered. I treated her like a person, and she acted like a person. She has thoughts. She has feelings. She has a choice. The room was very quiet. If you send her away because she protected someone, then you are saying that protection is bad. You are saying that courage is bad. You are saying that being strong is bad. Teo's voice got stronger. But that is not true. Strength with kindness is noble. That is what my mother taught me. That is what Earth teaches. And I think, he looked at all the faces around him, I think you all know this is true. You are just scared. A being made of light spoke. The inhibitors locked her. That means she attacked. That means she's dangerous. The inhibitors locked her because she moved fast, Teo said. But she could have hurt Nira more. She could have killed Velkar. She could have done anything. But she protected. She chose. Even with the pain of the inhibitors, she chose to save a child, not attack her. Another being spoke. This one was the one who made the decision to send Dae-young away. A tall being with many arms. Perhaps the human child is right, this being said slowly. Perhaps we have judged too quickly. Then Nira stood up. The Vran girl with lights on her head. Dae-young saved my life, she said. I would be hurt or dead if she did not come. She's not dangerous. She is a hero. The council looked at each other. They were quiet for a very long time. Finally, Min-hye stood up. I brought Dae-young to this school because I believed all beings could learn together, Min-hye said. I was wrong to doubt that belief. The human child has reminded me of the truth I forgot. Civilization is not the absence of instinct. Civilization is the choice to act with kindness despite instinct. She looked at the big being who had made the decision. Dae-young will stay, she said. And we will change how we think about her kind. Because if we send her away now, we are not civilized. We are just afraid. And fear is not a reason to destroy a friendship or hurt a being who has shown us only kindness. The council voted. Most agreed that Dae-young could stay. That night, Tae-oh ran to the medical room. Dae-young was sitting on her big chair, looking out at the stars like always. "You are staying," Tae-oh said, jumping up and down. They said yes. "You can stay in the school." Dae-young did not move for a long time. Then her deep voice came, and it sounded different. It sounded like maybe she was crying, the way a creature like her would cry. "You did this for me," she said. "A small, weak human child stood in front of all those powerful beings and spoke for me. Because you are my friend," Tae-oh said. "And friends help each other." Dae-young moved one of her big claws and gently touched Tae-oh's head, just like she did on the first day. But this time, it was not a greeting. It was a thanks. It was a promise. "I will never forget what you did for me, Tae-oh from Earth," she said, "for the rest of my life." After Dae-young was allowed to stay, something changed in the school. But it was not the change that everyone expected. Min-hye began to ask questions. She started to look at old papers and old decisions made by the Veiled Collective. She looked at why Dae-young had been chosen to come to the school. She looked at what happened to other beings from harsh worlds. What she found was very troubling. The Veiled Collective had not brought Dae-young to the school because they wanted to help her world. They had brought her because they wanted to control her world. They wanted to show that even the most dangerous beings could be made safe, made weak, made obedient. If they could do this with Dae-young, they could do it with all the Carthan. They could put the same inhibitors in every Carthan brain. They could turn a whole world of hunters into prisoners. It was not education. It was invasion with a kind smile. Min-hye found documents that said the plan was already approved. The plan was already starting. Ships were being built. Inhibitors were being made. The Veiled Collective planned to control Carthan 7 within 5 years. When Min-hye read this, she felt sick. She had been part of this. She had believed the good words about peace and learning. But the truth was much darker. That night, Min-hye did something dangerous. She sent a secret message to Earth. She told them everything. She told them about Dae-young. She told them about the plan to control her world. She told them that the Veiled Collective had lied. The message reached the Earth government. The message reached Tae-oh's mother. Tae-oh's mother did something that shocked everyone. She came to the space station. She came fast in a government ship. She came to get her son, but she came for something else too. She came to see Dae-young. When Tae-oh saw his mother, he ran to her and jumped into her arms. She held him tight and cried. She had missed him very much, but she did not keep him close for long. Instead, she walked with him to meet Dae-young. Dae-young was in the classroom, looking at pictures of Carthan 7. She turned when she heard footsteps. She saw Tae-oh and an adult human. She stood very still. "This is my mother," Tae-oh said. "Mother, this is Dae-young, my best friend." Tae-oh's mother was a strong woman with kind eyes. She looked up at Dae-young, who was very, very tall. She did not step back. She did not show fear. "Thank you for protecting my son," she said. "Thank you for being his friend." Dae-young did not know what to say. "I have come to tell you the truth," Tae-oh's mother said. "The Veiled Collective did not bring you here to help your world. They brought you here to learn how to control your world. We have learned this. Earth has learned this. And we are angry." She told Dae-young about the documents, about the plan, about the ships and the inhibitors. Dae-young felt cold. Not cold from temperature, but cold from knowing the truth. Everything she had hoped for was a lie. She had volunteered to help her people, and instead, she had helped plan their capture. "What will happen now?" Dae-young asked. "Now," Tae-oh's mother said, "we will tell everyone. We will show them that the Veiled Collective is not honest. And we will help your world understand what happened here. But the Veiled Collective was very powerful. When they found out that Minhei had sent the message, they tried to stop her. They arrested her. They said she had stolen secrets, but it was too late. Other beings in the galaxy heard what had happened. Many beings had worlds that the Veiled Collective wanted to control. Many beings had never trusted the Veiled Collective, but they did not have proof until now. The proof was Young. The proof was that a young girl from a Deathworld had come to school and had shown kindness and protection and choice. If Young could choose to be more than her instincts, then so could every other being. If Young was not a killer but a protector, then maybe the whole idea about dangerous worlds was wrong. Scientists looked at Young and found something very interesting. Her brain was not different from other beings in the way the Veiled Collective had said. She was not born to be a killer. She was born to be a hunter, to survive, to be strong. But being strong did not mean being cruel. Being a hunter did not mean being evil. The Veiled Collective had been lying about many things. Humans, it turned out, were also from a Deathworld. Earth had predators. Earth had hunger. Earth had cold and heat and things that could kill. But humans had become something more. Humans had become kind. Humans had become gentle. Humans had become civilized not because they were weak, but because they chose to be. And that choice was the most powerful thing in the galaxy. Other beings looked at this, and they understood. They had been so worried about strength and danger that they had forgotten something important. They had forgotten that the strongest thing was not your claws or your power. The strongest thing was your choice to use your power for good. VEL-KAR. The crystal girl who had attacked Nira was sent home. She was not coming back to school. But many other students who had been afraid of Young were not afraid anymore. A being of light asked Young, "What will you do now?" "I will learn," Young said. "I will go back to my world and teach them what I have learned here. That strength can be used for protection. That instinct can be guided by choice. That a predator is not the same as a monster." She looked at Teo, "And I will remember that a small, kind boy from a soft world taught me the most important thing. That friendship is stronger than fear. That kindness is stronger than power." Teo's mother smiled. "Then Earth stands with you," she said. "And we will help make sure that your world is free. Not controlled, free." The Veiled Collective's plan fell apart. The ships were stopped. The inhibitors were not made. But more than that, the whole galaxy began to think differently about beings from harsh worlds. Maybe harsh worlds did not make killers. Maybe harsh worlds made teachers. Teachers about how to survive. Teachers about how to be strong. Teachers about how strength without kindness is just anger. But strength with kindness is noble. In the classroom, with the glass walls and a view of stars, a Carthan and a human sat together. They did their schoolwork. They read about history. They talked about their worlds, and everyone watched. And everyone learned, because if a human and a creature from a death world could be friends, then maybe anything was possible. 2 years passed. The school changed. The galaxy changed. Jung changed, but not in the way anyone had expected. The Veiled Collective tried to keep the inhibitors in her brain, but Teo's mother fought them in court. She argued that the inhibitors were a form of slavery. She argued that Young had done nothing wrong. She argued that keeping someone locked in their own body was not justice. It was cruelty. In the end, they let Young choose. She could keep the inhibitors with new settings that only locked her if she used violence on purpose, not just if she moved fast or fought in self-defense. Or she could remove them completely. Young thought about this for a long time. "I will keep them," she finally said, "but with different settings. Not because I cannot be trusted, but because I choose to trust myself. And I want this choice to be visible to everyone. When the inhibitors do not block me, it will mean I am choosing kindness. It will be proof that strength and choice go together. So Dae-young lived with the new inhibitors, but they almost never locked. Because she almost never chose violence. Anymore. She had chosen something else. She had chosen to teach. The Veiled Collective wanted to get rid of Dae-young and Tae-oh. They wanted to delete all the records of what had happened. They wanted to pretend the whole thing never occurred. But too many beings in the galaxy had heard the story. Too many beings wanted to learn from it. So the school changed its leaders. Minhei, who had been punished for telling the truth, became the new head teacher. The Veiled Collective lost control. Dae-young became a teacher in the school. She taught a class called Understanding Harsh Worlds. In this class, she told her students about Karth I-7. She told them about the hunts, the survival, the strength. But she also told them something new. She told them about how hard worlds taught you to be strong. But soft hearts made you choose to use that strength to protect others. I was born to be a hunter, she would say to her classes. My instinct is to fight, to survive, to be the strongest. But I learned that being strong is not enough. Being strong and kind is what matters. Tae-oh was not a teacher, but he was her helper. He was also a student, learning to speak many languages so he could translate between different beings. He wanted to help bring beings together, just like he had helped bring Dae-young into the school. Many years later, when Tae-oh was older, he and Dae-young would go to the observation deck together. This was the place where you could see all the stars. It was high up on the station, with glass all around so you could see everything. They would stand there and look out at space. One day, Tae-oh asked Dae-young a question. "Do you ever regret coming here?" He asked. "To the school? To meet me? It was hard. You almost got sent away. Everyone was afraid of you." Dae-young looked at the stars. Her face was calm, but Tae-oh could see something in her eyes. Memory. Feeling. "Your species is young," she said. Her voice was like always, deep and slow. "Weak by any measure we use on Karth I-7. You do not have claws or armor. You cannot run fast. You cannot fight like my people fight. I thought when I first saw you that you were nothing. Just a fragile thing that should be feared." She turned her head to look down at him. "But you were not afraid of me." Why? Tae-oh thought about this. He remembered being 8 years old. He remembered his mother saying, "Be kind to everyone." "I guess because you were alone," he said. "Everyone else was afraid. And I thought being alone like that must be very sad. So I asked you to be my friend. Not because I was brave. Just because I did not like the idea of you being alone. That is what I do not understand about humans," Dae-young said. "You are weak. You are fragile. You are from a world that is soft and safe compared to mine. But you have something that no Karthan has. You see others who are not like you, and you do not fear them. You help them." She moved one of her claws and gently touched Tae-oh on the shoulder. This had become how she showed love. Not with words, but with that soft touch. "When I came to this school, I came to save my world," Dae-young said. "I thought I would learn their secrets and bring them back. But I learned something different. I learned that the only way to save my world was to change how others saw my world. And the only way to do that was through kindness. Through you. I did not do anything special," Tae-oh said. "You did everything special," Dae-young said. "You made the galaxy see that predator and prey, hunter and hunted, dangerous and safe are just words. You made them see that what matters is choice. What matters is how you act when you are scared. What matters is whether you choose kindness or fear." Below them, in the school, there were students of every kind. Crystal beings and water beings and light beings and beings made of rock and beings with no bodies at all. and among them were students from harsh worlds, beings with teeth and claws and instincts to hunt. But they were learning alongside soft, gentle beings. They were learning together. Do you know what will happen now? Dae-young asked Teo. What? Teo said. The galaxy will change, Dae-young said. Not because the Veiled Collective told them to. Not because laws were made. But because they saw us. They saw that a hunter and a hunted could be friends. They saw that different does not mean dangerous. They will go back to their worlds and tell this story. And others will come to this school to learn. And those others will go back and teach. And slowly, the whole galaxy will understand what you knew when you were 8 years old. What was that? Teo asked. That every being, no matter how scary they look, has a heart that can choose kindness. They stood there together, looking at the stars. An old friendship. A bond that had changed everything. In the classroom below, a new class was starting. This classroom was different from the first classroom where Teo had sat. Now there were no separated areas. The crystal beings sat next to the creatures from harsh worlds. A young Carthan girl sat in a regular chair, not a special metal one. She was learning with the others. Her name was Era. She had come to school because she had heard about Dae-young. She had heard about how a creature from a Deathworld had become a teacher. She had heard about how a human boy had made the galaxy see things differently. Era wanted to be like that too. Min-Hae, now old and kind, taught this new class. She looked around the room at all the different beings. Today we will talk about compassion, Min-Hae said. Compassion means to feel what others feel, to understand their pain, to help them even when it is hard. One student in this very school taught the galaxy about compassion. Does anyone know who? All the hands went up. All the beings, different as they were, raised their appendages. Teo, they said. That is right, Min-Hae said. A young human boy from a soft world taught creatures from harsh worlds about kindness. And a creature from a harsh world taught humans that strength and gentleness can exist together. They changed how we see each other. Young Era's lights got bright with excitement. Lights were how her species showed happiness. Where are they now? She asked. They are here, Min-Hae said. On this station. They work together still. They teach. They work to make sure that beings from all worlds can learn together. Would you like to meet them? The class went quiet. They wanted to meet them very much. That afternoon, Dae-young came to the classroom with Teo. The children saw them come in. A huge Carthan and a small human. A hunter and a gentle being. Yet they moved as one, talking and laughing. Young Era saw Dae-young and felt scared for a moment. Dae-young was very big and very strong. She had teeth and claws. But then Dae-young did something that made Era feel safe. She sat down on the ground, so she was smaller. She looked at Era with eyes that were kind. I was like you once, Dae-young said. Scared of things that were different. But then a small human boy taught me that different is not bad. Different is just different. Teo added, and Dae-young taught me that strong is not bad either. Strong can be used to protect. Strong can be used to help. The classroom filled with voices as the students asked questions. They wanted to know everything. They wanted to know about Carthan 7. They wanted to know about Earth. They wanted to know about what it was like to be friends when everyone said you could not be. That night, after all the students had gone to their rooms, Dae-young went back to the observation deck. This was their favorite place. The place where they could think about how far they had come. Look at the new students, Teo said. They are not afraid of you anymore. And they are not looking down on you either. They see you as a teacher, as a friend. Look at what you have become, Dae-young said. A young boy who just wanted to be kind has become a bridge between worlds. You show others that bridges can be built. Teo looked up at his best friend. His friend who had fallen from the sky in an alien spaceship. His friend who everyone thought was a killer. His friend who had taught the galaxy that judging by appearance was the worst kind of mistake. Taeyoung, Teo said, I am glad you came to this school. And I, Taeyoung said, will be glad for the rest of my life that you asked me to be your friend. Below them, the station moved through space. Around them, stars burned with ancient light. And in the classroom with the glass walls, a Carthan and a human had changed how the whole galaxy thought about each other. The classroom had fallen. Silent on first day because everyone was afraid. But the classroom would never be silent in that way again, because now it was filled.